Not every scene begins with a loud crash. Sometimes, it's just a slight steering mistake. A wheel slipping off the edge of the road. And suddenly, dozens of tons of steel are thrown into a position that no ordinary vehicle can recover from. By the time we were called in, all initial recovery attempts had already failed. A trailer stranded off-road, a container lying sideways blocking the road, and a scene that should have been completely looted, yet remained untouched. 3 situations, 3 different problems, but all with one requirement: restore everything to its proper position, under conditions that allow no room for error. The loaded trailer, weighing around 80,000 pounds, had slid off the road and tilted nearly 30 degrees on soft ground. The lower wheels were deeply sunk, and the entire mass had shifted to one side, with the constant risk of a full rollover. The scene was a complete mess. One small mistake could mean disaster. The recovery team deployed a high-capacity crane rated up to 100,000 pounds. But at full boom extension, the safe lifting capacity dropped to around 60,000, 70,000 pounds. A direct lift wasn't possible. We had to change strategy. 3 steel cables were attached to the main load-bearing points, combined with guidelines to control lateral movement. The force was split into 2 components: lift and horizontal pull, creating a pulling angle of about 40 degrees from the ground. As the system took load, tension on each cable exceeded 40,000 pounds, shaking violently. Every inch was tense. The center of gravity shifted suddenly, the most dangerous moment. If the pulling force wasn't balanced, the trailer could pivot and flip over. But with continuous adjustments from the crane operator, the trailer was finally brought back into balance. One small error, and the outcome could have been completely different. It might have plunged downhill, a situation that kept everyone on edge. Two days later, we received another call. When we arrived, a container weighing around 70,000 pounds was lying sideways, blocking the road. It had detached from the chassis, losing all support points, making recovery far more complex than a typical rollover. Extremely dangerous. Thankfully, the road was empty at the time, avoiding further damage. The team deployed 2 heavy-duty cranes, each rated over 100,000 pounds, positioned at opposite angles to control the lift direction. We quickly identified the rigging points and began operations. Every movement was fast and precise. The cables tightened as if they were about to tear through the air under the immense pressure of the steel mass. Each crane had to be carefully adjusted to maintain balance and prevent the load from tipping the wrong way. Then slowly, very slowly, the container began to move. Inches at a time, the body lifted off the ground with a heavy metallic groan under pressure. By precisely controlling tension at each cable point, the team gradually brought the overturned container back to an upright position. Nearly 2 hours of high tension, with dozens of micro-adjustments, proof that in heavy recovery, precision matters just as much as strength. Finally, the vehicle was successfully recovered. The relief in everyone's eyes said it all. The next morning, we were dispatched to handle a truck loaded with cargo, estimated between 40,000 and 48,000 pounds, which had been stranded roadside for too long. In situations like this, the concern isn't just the vehicle, but the cargo behind it. If left unattended, losses are almost inevitable. But strangely, when we arrived, everything was still intact. No signs of tampering. Not a single item missing. In a chaotic scene like that, it was almost unbelievable. The team quickly assessed the vehicle. The suspension and front axle were slightly misaligned, but the chassis was still stable enough for recovery. A recovery truck with a 33,000-pound hydraulic underlift was used, combined with a main towing cable, to slowly bring the front end back onto the road. Because of the slippery surface, pulling force was increased gradually to prevent lateral sliding or loss of balance. After several hours, the truck was safely repositioned, and all cargo remained untouched. In a job where we always prepare for the worst, sometimes the most memorable outcome is when nothing is lost. Three missions, nearly 200,000 pounds of load handled under different conditions, dozens of anchor points, pulling angles, and tension forces calculated down to the smallest detail. Sometimes the limit lies in the machinery. Sometimes it lies in human coordination. And sometimes the outcome depends on factors beyond measurement. But in every case, the principles remain the same. Understand the load. Control the direction of force, and always be ready to adjust when things go beyond expectation. Because in rescues like these, what keeps everything from collapsing isn't just steel and cables, it's how humans choose to use them. Dangerous, but incredibly rewarding when it all comes together.